Here's a genuine point of praise to the film, which is that the Gotham depicted in this has so much more character and charm to it than any Gotham that's been depicted on screen since. It has this amazing maximalist, neon-infused Gothic Art Deco style.
It reminds statues.
Yeah, with the giant statues all throughout it, which almost look like Atlas.
Okay, so let's talk about the Nietzschean vitalism aspect, right? What is this giant naked man statue stretching across the city?
The director's sexual fantasy.
Well, probably. Conversely, it's also Bap's sexual fantasy.
So we're drawing it back around.
Bronze Age perverts, Batman and Robin.
It's very proud of the human form. Again, it looks like it could be an ancient
just like
Greek,
the bat suits are.
Exactly. All of the bat suits, all of it.
Even fucking Poison Ivy's like, I love an anatomically correct rubber suit.
Need those nipple... I don't know, what do they call them? Nipple signifiers, I don't know.
I think it's a bold move to have the nipples on the suit. Anyone that doesn't have it is...
Yeah, but
any suit that doesn't have the nipples...
It was controversial at the time.
They're cowards.
He introduced them in the previous film, in Batman Forever, didn't he?
Oh, I can't remember which one it was, but...
The one with Val Kilmer.
It was one of those things that a lot of people talked about at the time, because it was like, that's overt. But this is the point. There's a genuine sort of worship of the human form in Batman, but in every single way, right? Because notice how none of the characters, there's a persistent thread of I'm not a victim in this. Yeah. Right? There's a persistent thread of this. And there's a persistent thread of empowerment. I mean, like, even Batgirl at the end is like, I defeated Poison Ivy all by myself, girl power, right? It's throughout the entire thing. And everyone is, well, most people are good looking. They're all very much wrapped up in their own sort of personal story in it. This is why Mr. Freeze comes out actually quite sympathetic, because he doesn't cheat on his frozen waifu with the harlot, Poison Ivy. And, you know, and I love his, the dust is trying to make a man's blood boil or something, and obviously...
It doesn't work for a cool-hearted...
I just love at the end of the film when he has wrapped back around to being a tragic anti-hero of sorts, and he's back in Arkham Asylum to save his wife because she's not actually dead, and they just drop him in Poison Ivy's
Stop patrol.
Drop him in Poison Ivy's cell, presumably to torture and murder.
It seems that way, yeah.
So,
Winter has come at last.
One of the main point of contention between Batman and Robin is that Batman doesn't trust Robin has sufficient agency.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't trust that Robin is empowered enough. And so the whole thing, throughout all of it, is everyone is very capable and competent. They look good. They're very proud of their physical form. Weirdly, the city has giant statues worshipping a kind of Nietzschean vitalist attitude. And the whole film itself is incredibly elitist. There's nothing in there about, we need to worry about the poor underclass. No, they're scum. Look at them. Out on the streets, racing dirt bikes. You know, they're like living in hovels like scum. No, they're scum. We're the elite. We go to these big parties and we're heroic.
The anti-human character is also the true villain. Because even Mr. Freeze gangs up on Poison Ivy. Because Poison Ivy's like, no, we allowed nature to reclaim it. All of humanity is they're just useless eaters and they're evil polluters.
And she is a dysgenic leftist to begin with.
Yep.
Until science interferes with her. She's like a weird little mousy...
And makes her hot Uma Thurman.
Yeah, exactly. Left-wing environmentalist freak who hates humanity. And suddenly, she's the main villain of the entire piece.
And weaponizes the prison class as Bane as her muscle. She's basically a Leninist.
Yeah. Bio-Leninism literally embodied. And so the whole thing takes on... Like I said, it's a very Nietzschean film. Like, no, you yourself are not a victim. You're very strong, you're competent, you're good-looking, you're successful, you're rich, and you deserve it. You deserve all of these things. You deserve to be at the top of society because you've earned it. The evil villain is a disgruntled, envious leftist. That is, honestly, I don't know what everyone's complaining about.
I've been won over by this.
Well, here's another aspect to that then. Batgirl comes in, she's complaining that her uncle is a servant the whole of his life, but he actually loves being a servant.
Yeah.
He's doing it in the service of something greater than himself.
That's exactly... He's completely happy with where he is in the hierarchy. And Robin even looks shocked when she says this. It's like, he's a servant. He's like, what? And he literally like points around to the giant mansion he lives in. It's like, no, he's not unhappy. It's like, oh, no, he's miserable. It's like, no, none of that. And then Batman asks Alfred, are you happy doing what you do? He's like, yes, I just wish I could have been the hero too. It's like, okay.
I did dislike the Mary Sue aspect of that. But I did find it funny. The dirty old dog Alfred designed a very skin-tight costume.
I thought there was something a bit off about that. Where it's
I've taken the liberty.
Listen, child, I've been measuring you in secret at night.
Got your measurements perfect.
You've got to remember it was a more innocent time.
Yeah,
People didn't think like that.
More innocent. Yeah.
Mary Sue.
She does.
She's not Mary Sue actually, because Robin hates her.
It is. Well, it is
Mary Sue's.
Well, but it's highlighted a number of times at the end that actually it was Batgirl who saved Robin.
Yes.
Girl power.
Yeah, absolutely. There was definitely, and again, this is concurrent with like the Spice Girls. It's very much 90s girl power, but this is nobody is a victim. Mentally.
I'm also
everyone is a winner.
Point out it's really weird that she turns up in like a schoolgirl's outfit.
Yeah, as if Joel Schumacher thought they won't believe that she's a schoolgirl unless she's wearing the uniform.
And she's meant to be
Now
going
put it on, Alicia.
to a university.
Oxford University as well.
Yeah.
She's come back with her American accent. It's like, oh, really? Okay, very interesting. Yeah.
And on the subplot of Robin not being trusted by Batman, do you love that when they're riding down the massive statue's arm about to make the jump, Batman goes, "No, you won't make it, Robin," so tries to save his life by disabling his motorbike, so he almost just slides straight off the edge of it.
For anyone who hasn't seen it, right, basically the giant Vitalist statue has its arms outstretched and they're driving down one of the arms or something like that.
Yeah.
And like Mr. Freeze freezes the head so they can go through the head and crash through the head, turns his car around and freezes the Batmobile in midair. Batman jumps out of the Batmobile, crashes through and captures Mr. Freeze. Okay, this is what I mean. Like, Mary Sue, come on.
At least Batman earned it. She just turns up after studying at university, presumably, can just drive a motorbike and better than anyone else, and can fight.
It makes sense they explain it. She got kicked out of university because she was amazing at riding
She was
motorbikes.
drag racing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think
It makes
Oxford or
sense.
Cambridge have ever taken exception to racing, have they?
Or drag.
They promote it these days, yeah.
So I think basically Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy, they have a rich layer and rich character arc. And
Poison
they're,
Ivy?
I think so, yeah.
All right, okay.
Just
What's interesting about the Poison Ivy character is how contained her sexuality is when she's a dorky scientist, and then once she goes through the accident, it's just aggressive female sexuality.
That's her thought.
Well, no, that's her. Yeah, but that you see this all the time. Like there are loads of e-girls now who are just the Poison Ivy archetype. And I mean, at the end of it, literally, Alicia Silverstone's beating the hell out of her, saying "Stop being a whore." It's really funny.
A skin-tight leather outfit.
right, so
I've got the exact quote if you want.
Go for it.
It's also weird that they personify nature, which is what she's meant to represent, as whorish. It's like
is she the Tiamatic dragon of feminism?
Well, the giant flower at the end does look a little bit.
It's not coincidental, I imagine.
There's a lot of phallic imagery in this.
It's not phallic; it's the opposite. It looks like she's being eaten by a giant.
Oh yeah, well
she's getting
supposed to be a
devoured
big
by her
Venus
own
flytrap,
sexuality.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
But the point being that again, it's a very powerful view of what a woman is, right? I mean, she goes around and her power is literally bewitching men, and it's like, okay, it's interesting. Again, it's very positivist.
She murders them by kissing them.
And she murders them by kissing them,
Just like real life.
which is why Robin's so clever to put on.
and she
rubber
forms
lips.
an alliance.
Put on his feet set of lips.
And she forms an
Boys wear a
alliance.
rubber. Yeah.
Lip condoms. Yeah.
Remember, man, you're going out with a woman. Bring your fake lips. You never know.
If the woman's a whore, wear rubber.
And Arnie challenges her.
Yes.
That's why she sticks with him.
Yeah. Oh man, what I like about Arnie in this is that he is totally loyal to his wife.
Yeah.
No, I'm not having any of you whore. My wife is frozen, and
He's got that minion at the beginning who's trying to seduce him as well.
Yeah.
Controls her immediately.
Yep. None of that thought. So he's quite a virtuous character in that way, actually.
Other than all the murders.
You can forgive a man a few murders.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave us so many quotes. So I want you Connor and Harry, to tell us a bit about the character of Mr. Freeze, and then we can see how Arnie portrayed it, because it's, I think, the main good thing about the movie.
Oh, he first popped up as Mr. Zero in the 50s, and he was wearing pink and yellow, and he was just a typical bank robber character, and he had zero sympathetic backstory. And then it wasn't until Batman the Animated Series made Heart of Ice, which won an Emmy, that depicted him as befalling a tragic accident because there was a corporate greed at Ferris Boyle, I think it was, tried to shut off his experiment, trying to keep his wife alive because it wasn't making any money, and then he went
The divine intervention of science.
basically. And then he goes, because he's now frozen, he builds himself a containment suit, goes after Ferris Boyle, and is just trying to steal enough money to keep his wife alive. And that reset the origin of Mr. Freeze. Technically, it hasn't been reset in the comics, so everyone just acts like it's Batman the Animated Series' origin, and he just looks like that now. So then, clearly, they must have watched that, and a couple of years later we'll put Mr. Freeze in the movie, but they only must have taken the fact that he made a few ice puns, and he has a frozen wife as his entire character, because that must have been the only direction that Arnold got.
Well, the funny thing for me is that, looking at Mr. Freeze, this is not the worst adaptation, not the most inaccurate adaptation of that version of Freeze, just a lot punnier.
Well,
that's the main difference.
So just better all round.
Well, the current comic
we need more Arnold, more quips.
If you would like to see the full version of this premium video, please head over to lotuseaters.com and subscribe to gain full access to all of our premium content.